Yeah, that Zoom shut us off, but we're all back with part two, and they've agreed to stay here. So thank you both for doing that. And
Thank you.
so we were talking about Blondie and whether or not you guys like Blondie. I'm not trying to find out the name of the song, although yeah, it'd be cool too. But go ahead. What do you think of Blondie?
I love Blondie. I've been
Yeah, I like
listening to it very much.
yeah, I like Blondie as well. Um, I haven't listened to an album by Blondie in a really long time, but I actually should. I have a bunch of them on vinyl and on CD as well. And yeah, great band
Yeah.
and a great front woman.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
And I actually have some Debbie Harry solo albums too.
Oh, okay. All right. The Age of Velvet is another one of my favorites. Um, that just that the thing that really stood out to me, and I think I told you guys this from the beginning, but I'm from the Pacific Northwest in Washington, and we get a lot of rain. And when Anna Carolina sings "The Essence of Rain," and then we don't care. And I probably you get a lot of rain in Finland as well.
Yes.
But just I don't know that really I mean the whole album stuck with me, but that part of that song and the whole song itself. Again, this is another one I'd love to see a video for. Do you guys want to talk about that song, Age of Velvet?
Well, I want to first say that I think this album is like sort of mentally set in the area that you live in, the Pacific Northwest, since it's very much influenced by Twin Peaks and Angelo Badalamenti and David Lynch and Mark Frost and Julie Cruz and people like that. And I've been to the filming locations of Twin Peaks in North Bend and Snoqualmie Falls, and then I went to the some shooting locations in Hollywood as well, and that's the world of Twin Peaks is living inside us all, I think, in the band, and it's a very unique show that crosses the borders of just being something. It's almost like a religion.
Yeah, for some people, yeah.
It's even the color palette of that show is so nice and so cool, and the casting is like brilliant, and obviously um the mystique of the woods in your area is something that I think this music talks to sort of, and
absolutely right.
yeah, and that song is the Essence of Rain parts and stuff like that are closely tied to the area that you live in. I think it rains much more in your area than ours. Like if you look at it as the whole year, because we get like half of our year is basically snow, and winter and cold, and it's not as cold in your area. But yeah. You want to talk a little bit about that song, Anna?
Well, can I just ask you one thing? Did you go to the diner and did you have the pie and the coffee?
I did not go to that diner, and it bums me out. I have to go there. I went to.
You really do.
I
used to live in Issaquah. Next time you come in, you'll drive right by Issaquah on the way to North Bend, and so we'd go out there, often in the fall and winter, and just go to that diner and have the pie. And the pie really is excellent. And the coffee is good. But yeah, anyway, if you get a chance, definitely.
Yeah, I had a burger in that the Salish Lodge
Oh, that's nice.
hotel, which is like right next to the waterfall from
Wonderful.
Twin Peaks. And I bought like a golden pine cone necklace to my mom from there, and
Oh, wow.
as a souvenir. And it was in 1993, so it was like quite quickly after the show finished, a couple of years after. And I have been talking to my family that yeah, we have to visit. Like, I hope we will go there next year. We have been planning to go for a number of years, but then this stupid pandemic messed everything up. So here we are in our hometown, and
Well,
not doing like a pilgrimage.
if you come back here, the right in back of me here, that is Bellingham, but it's Bellingham. I'm further north in Bellingham, Washington. It's almost on the Canadian border. But this picture in back of me is on top of the San Juan Islands. You guys have a lot of islands in Finland, and that's why I put this up. But if you're coming out here, try to go here. There's a place called Mount Constitution, and that's where this picture is taken. It's at the top of the mountain, and you see all of the San Juan Islands. It's beautiful.
Okay.
If you come in the summertime, yeah.
Yeah.
If you come
and
at
one
this
of
time, you're not going to see anything but rain.
yeah, and one of the reasons that I also wanna go to that area is because of my huge love for Nirvana.
Oh,
and and my and that's something that Tommy, the guitar player, and me were the biggest Nirvana fans in the world. And that's something that is really like that combines us too. And because my dad used to live in Seattle, so that's why I visited back in the
oh.
days. And
Well, and you probably know then you go out west to the Olympic Peninsula, and that's where he used to live.
yeah,
Yeah. And they have a sign and all, and you can take a picture by the sign and by his house. Yeah, it is quite an experience. And the whole Olympic Peninsula, if you do the whole peninsula loop, definitely check out Hurricane Ridge, and a place that most people won't tell you about, but it's Cape Flattery. If you remember that, look it up. It's a very northwest tip of the Northwest and of the United States. And that's where they did a lot of the filmings for that. I can never remember the name of that show, that vampire movie.
a True Blood, was it?
No,
No,
also from the 90s, I think. But
okay.
uh, I just I never can remember the name of it. But if you look it up, it was a huge. It was a vampire. They had like 3 or 4 movies, and
Oh, that what is it called? New Moon is one of the
yeah,
movies.
I think
Yeah, I don't.
yeah.
Yeah, that
But they were all
teenage
filmed.
vampire stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, they were all filmed out there.
Twilight.
Twilight. There you
Yes.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think this our music is actually really much influenced by the American pop culture and of the days of the old,
Yeah.
and not as much as it is where we live in Finland. It's an ode to the golden age of Hollywood and film noir, and a lot of film references in our music and lyrics too. So it's basically the lyrics aren't that much about like current topics or telling people what to do or complaining about stuff that the government does or anything like that. It's basically romanticizing stuff that we like, and with the added angle of writing about things that are going on in the brain of an individual person.
Anna, we've been talking, but do you want to add anything?
Markus said as it is.
Okay. Well, yeah, I hope both of you eventually come over here and maybe there'll be a tour. Definitely pick the Northwest as a choice, a place to go. We'd love to have you.
Yeah.
The last song on the album is very dark, but it's very long, but it's very excellent. You guys, I'll let you talk about it because I could talk about it for hours, but I'd rather hear you.
Go ahead, Anna.
What hides in the dark?
What hides in the dark? It's well, as I said earlier, it's the last song, and it's a horror story, and it's written by poetess Mikko Korhonen. And when we were recording it, it went straight to the tape for the first take. And I just love the story, the horror elements, and I just love the whole package. It's like the grande finale for the album.
I really hope there'll be a video for that one.
Yeah, that's like a haunted house, sort of a like an old school horror story that I think personally, I think it reminds me of King Diamond, the horror metal guy, and his stories. And I think Tommy went a little bit over the top with all the like audio, what is it called, like coming up with like
Well, her breathing and that.
yeah, and the sound of a door opening and the wind and everything other, all the other stuff on it, and that's probably the most heavy track on the album, and the only one that our drummer actually like hits hard and does like a lot of drum fills, and as the song progresses, it goes somewhat over the top, and it's like repetitive, and
But it's, yeah.
I think it captures perfectly like the mood of the lyrics, that this person is like trying to hide from some evil that's after her, and trying to run in the forest and just like save herself from not getting caught and dying or something. And yeah, that song and a bunch of others have actually like a live violin and a cello, and I think the strings on that song and some of the others are like, we could have done them with keyboards and samples, but I think it's really cool to have like real instruments and super talented musicians performing on the album. And and that song, as I was saying earlier, that this is sort of like an art project. That song is like audio art, it's not just a song, it's like an audio movie of sorts. And we didn't want to have any time limits of how long a song can be. It's supposed to be as long as it takes, and that song is like, I don't know, is it like 14 minutes or something like that?
Yeah, yeah, 1306. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, but it's definitely it cannot be anywhere else on the album. It has to be the final
Epic closer.
final epic scene
Yeah.
of a movie called The Ghost Love Chronicles. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, any other additional tour information yet, or are you guys involved with other projects as well, or anything else that you want to talk about that I haven't discussed yet?
I hope to tour at Germany and USA.
We
Yeah, and
love to have you, definitely.
yeah, the band doesn't have like like a gig promoter at the time, so we're looking for one. And um and there's going to be another show in Kuopio, I think in, is it
January.
like, yeah, January, and
Yeah.
and probably some shows around Finland. And yeah, the reason that I decided not to be in the live uh, band is that I have so many other projects that I'm involved with, so I just don't have the time. My main band is called Korhonen and Laakso. It's a metal band, and we just released an album this year, and now we're gonna release an EP in December. And then I have a third band that's just starting out. It's called the Ghoul Stars. It's sort of like the Misfits meets White Zombie meets Venom. So it's
Oh, wow.
uh, horror punk and metal music mixed together. And we're gonna have our first show in December. So I have to finish up the songs actually first, and then rehearse them and then play them. And then I've written 2 books, and the first one just came out in English on Friday, a couple of days ago. So I have been like crazy busy doing press and for different projects that I'm involved with. And then I have a day job, and then I have 2 kids and a wife that demand attention.
Mhm.
So it's this year has been insane with all the albums and books that are being released. I think it's like within a year, I think my bands and projects have released 6 singles, 2 full-length albums, 1 EP, and then 2 different versions of my first book. So and the second book is that I've written in Finnish is also or it has been translated into English, but I didn't find the translation to be good enough. So that requires some stuff from me as well. I didn't translate it myself, but it still requires attention from me. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on. And also with Her Shadow, as this album took 5 years, like literally 5 years to make, Tommy has been writing new music already, and
wow.
I have been writing some lyrics, and we've been demoing stuff. And I think the new songs are very interesting and
Oh.
very something that well, quite unpredictable. Some of them are like super catchy, but some of them I call the doomsday jazz. So it's really very varied, and definitely gonna be more music coming out from Her Shadow.
Yes.
But right now the focus is getting the band on the road. So yeah.
Yeah.
And do you think next year that album or 24?
Hard to say.
Okay.
It's
It sounds like you're pretty big.
since we're signed to Svart Records, which is a Finnish label, and a great one at that. And those guys always, when they sign bands, they sign them to one album deals, which is actually very good for bands if the cooperation is not like as good as it should be, or if a band like gets huge, it can sign to a bigger label if they wish. And let's see how this album goes, and if Svart wants to continue the cooperation with us. A lot of my bands are signed to Svart Records. I think this is like the, I don't know, 6th album that I've been involved with that comes out through that label. So I like those guys a lot, and they give like 100% artistic freedom. And like, for example, on this album, it's a debut album of an unknown band, and we got to do like a digipack CD and then a double vinyl with 2 different colors, and it's a gatefold and with a lyric sheet also. So that's basically the whole set that anyone can have.
That's awesome.
So,
It sounds
yeah,
like they
and
believe in you, and that's good. That's good.
yeah, so it's really cool that those guys are on board. So I hope I hope very, very much that this album will find its listeners, because it's such a really fucking good album. Sorry.
No, I'd say that too. Yeah, I'd agree with you on that.
Yeah, it's definitely something to be proud of, and
Could be, yeah.
it doesn't follow any trends. It doesn't like we've been saying that it's very much influenced by Twin Peaks and Lana Del Rey, but it's not ripping anybody off. I think it sounds like Her Shadow. It doesn't sound like a copy of something else.
Anything else you'd like to add, Anna?
I have a couple of other bands, but I'm not speaking about those now. I'm just doing Her Shadow right now. And that old Royal Lips rock band. And maybe someday, once more I get to that, and other few projects also. And I'm working. I work at the hospital, triple shift.
Yeah.
And being extremely busy. It took 5 years to make this album.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that the second one will be easier to make, since we already know who we're going to be working with on the album.
Yeah.
and some of the songs. And since we've done one album, we have the concept ready, and it doesn't have to start from scratch. And I think the new songs that I've heard are like taking the concept even further, and to very unique places that are unpredictable, but still have this familiar. They sound familiar, but they are different.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to that next one, and as I say, I'm definitely looking forward to the album or the CD finally arriving here. Thank you both for taking all this time to sit and talk with me. Really appreciate it. It's great to finally. Anna was going to try to do this last week, and I understand her schedule. I didn't know if
Yeah.
she was working at triple shift. That is pretty
Yeah.
awesome. That's hard work, and it's difficult with everything that's been going on with COVID and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot for really understanding and getting what we're trying to do with this band, and we all read your review, and I think it was like spot on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, you needed somebody from Seattle to pick it up and look at it.
Yeah,
You know, you really made that connection well in that discussion you had. And yeah, hopefully all of my Seattle friends and people in this area will pick this up over the winter or the holiday, and when it finally makes it to the on Amazon and those places, yeah, I think you're going to do well. And
yeah.
we're glad to have you out in the world making this music, which no one else is. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you for a chance
Yeah.
for this interview. Thank you.
All right. Well, anything else you guys want to add?
Well, not really, but thank you for all the listeners. If you've made it this far and listening to us babble some nonsense, but yeah, we're really hoping that this music will be heard by people who might enjoy it, and it's a great thing that even from the States, people are interested in talking to us about this band and its music. And yeah, there has been a lot of interest from the German press, which is also very great, since Germany is a huge market for music. And yeah, let's hope that everything goes well.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the recording, but thank you very much again for taking time out to talk with us here on Progressive Rock Central. And give me just a minute. I'm going to turn that off, and we'll chat for just a minute here.
Okay.
Yeah.